land that stun, he's going to take a lot of harass, and there's no sustain on Rumble. He just has to preemptively use that shield so he can block some of the damage.
And also, Kobe, we were talking about this before, the one who, teleports back first is going to be able to get their items, but he doesn't have teleport for that lane. So we're going to see a different effect come into play here this time versus last game. We'll see if his turret goes down a lot quicker.
That's exactly why I would like to see the Taric and MF shove this lane. And even though we see Jarvan coming out with a ward, it's probably going to be a very early turret. If they just redirect their attention down to it and all attack it with the flag from Jarvan, increasing attack speed of all three members, they can do a lot of damage to it.
Awesome placement by that ward by Nick Wu as well. That pink ward that was put down in the tri-bush will not be able to see it.
Very
the
tricky.
Top lane being aggressed here though, and this looks like Curse versus Marn. Before 4 minutes, we're going to see these turrets going down.
It is going to be the bottom one falling first, but it's not going to matter because we have an attack reset here for Loud and Mortis, so it's going to be an even trade. And like you said, the pink ward didn't catch out that tricky Nick Wu over the wall instead.
So we got Barrier and Ignite both being used in mid as we see Chuper and Reginald going a bit aggressive, kind of face to face. They've chugged all the potions back up to full health now. And TSM going a lot harder than Martin did last game. They're behind this second tier turret already. They're not even giving the waves a chance, and they're going to get a strong push here, looking for another turret possibly before 6 minutes.
Complexity weren't going to keep shoving, but because TSM are so deep already, they're following up with a push of their own, and it looks like we're going to be content to keep on trading. How ballsy are these guys going to be? Will they trade inhibitor turrets? Teams don't usually do that, but it would be very interesting to see one time if they decided, okay, guys, let's all both start out with inhibitors down.
Take it before 5 minutes.
Got one more
Second tier
on it.
turrets going down before 5 minutes. Wow, super week or super Wednesday. Definitely becoming pretty super.
They are continuing to push here for Complexity. They didn't go back to defend, so the top one is going to be finished off again, and it's going to be back even up to 2 turrets each.
4 turrets have been destroyed in 5 minutes here into the game. Complexity and TSM pulling out all the stops here with that first push of aggression. But will they continue this? Now that they've done this, we've seen 2 teams kind of make this happen, and then they kind of pause for a second. They figure out where to go. The blue buffs kind of be contested, and they're stolen. Want to see what Complexity and TSM can grow from at this point.
Because of this early trade, I actually like Complexity. They have TF, so they have the option for their mid laner who can shove really, really hard to exert his presence on other areas of the map that will be undefended by those turrets. By exposing more area of the map, they actually come out slightly ahead.
And this has got to be different for everybody here. It just sets up a different 6 minutes in the game. Everybody's gotten a surge of money that never happens before. Some items are coming out for these laners already. TF with that Sheen already in the middle, like you said, could be rushing that Lich Bane because they have the map advantage already. If he gets that really early, that inhibitor push on the turret is going to be such a dangerous thing to look out for.
And we can see the solo lane still level 4 here for Dyrus as well as Nick Wu. They've been kept down because both of those lanes were shoved so far. They couldn't get very close even to the minion line. Nobody wanted to give up first blood, and it looks like we're going to have to wait a while once again. They're all walking over this ward. They think they're being sneaky.
It looks
but there's
like
a giant pink ward right there.
Brunch throws safety out the window. He does get a Doran's in the beginning for a bit of health, but he goes straight for that BF sword, so he's going to be all out on the damage, just hoping that the fears will come out at the correct time to keep him alive if there's a big engagement, because he is quite squishy right now. He's going to be going up against Chaos. He has that scepter. He'll be able to get some life back as he attacks, so that fight could be pretty good if it goes 1 for 1.
TSM just spent 40 seconds with about 3 members all walking
just
around
chilling.
that pink ward. Little dance party on the pole, and they have they have some control of this dragon, but that pink ward doing so much work here for Complexity. They can contest it. There's no
so hungry for this buff.
There's no teleport on Nick Wu, like you pointed out really early. He's top lane right now. TSM could make a move for this dragon, but it's so early in the game that being level 4, it's hard to tank a dragon. Dragon's going to almost add as much damage as another player, and they don't want to rush it.
And this was that focus, Kobe. Was it going to be that 17-20 buff spawn, or 7-20 buff spawn, or was it going to be Dragon after that if they won the fight? Nobody wanted anything. It was way too hairy. And again, cautious play coming into the favor for both teams.
Now that TF is level 6, he can teleport in to join a fight where Dyrus is only level 5, and his summoner teleport not only will have a much longer cooldown, but he doesn't have his ultimate ready for when he joins the team fight. He still needs another half bar, 30% of his bar on experience, so he's going to have to do 2 more waves.
Looks like they're getting some pings down in the bottom lane. I don't see any movement from Trooper though, so it could be just for MIA to kind of go off on the side here. They are getting some, see the pings going down by that tri-bush. I don't know what they want from this.
Yeah, even though we had very early secondary turrets going down, both teams are being cautious. It's not a very high action game here. Both teams being very safe, being very methodical. We've seen this, seems like everybody had this exact same plan today. We've seen this again, all 3 of these games so far. Everybody's playing very safe, even though they're opening up more area on the map.
So I guess they're just wary about the odd one right now. They only have that 1 ward somewhat behind them. MIA does have the sight stone, but I think he's ran out by this point if he hasn't put anything else safer down. So these guys are playing quite dangerous with no ward there, or turret I should say, behind them. They do have that ward in front of them. Special and Chaos in that lane. 64 to 56 are the minions between those 2 AD carries. As we go up to the mid lane, it's 70 to 65. Quite even across the board so far. The junglers quite neck and neck as well. 46 to 32. Again, top lane shows us our biggest deficit within the lanes.
I really like Dyrus in this lane too because he rushed the Chalice, whereas Rumble went for the Magic Penetration. But Magic Penetration is harder to buy. It's a little bit more expensive because it's an offensive stat, and it only penetrates 15, whereas the Chalice is going to give him straight up 25 magic resist. That more than makes up for it. Plus, he gets the mana regen on top of that, and he's going to feel just fine in that lane. He shoves it up, doesn't have any doesn't want to place his other ward in the tri-bush, so he recalls to go buy some. He's now past that level 6, so he has his ultimate available, and he can even out any team fight that Trooper joins.
Yeah, it seems to just be like what everybody likes on Malphite, right? Hotshot built the Chalice as well. If you're just against the AP, it helps with that damage, and you keep yourself in lane. It works. The pros are doing it. Why not?
Yeah, why not? He actually rushes those early Merc Treads, which doesn't give you a lot of extra magic resist past getting the no magic mantle with them, but the upgrade does give you that tenacity. And if he gets caught out by a TF gold card or something, then that will help him a lot. However, I would like to see some either HP or armor for Malphite. Malphite works really well with both of those defensive stats. He gets that extra shield, 10% of the maximum HP, so HP is really effective to stack on him.
13,800 to 13,700. Nothing really to compare with in the gold. Just means Complexity is really waiting for TeamSoloMid to make a mistake, and it's exactly the other way around. 11 minutes into this game, Complexity kind of looking for that edge that I was just talking about. A ward up above in mid as they focus 3 there. TSM continues to poke back and forth on this dragon, Kobe, and they're not really one to risk a lot, but they're going for a 2-man here, and they know.
Loudamortis now getting caught out with the ultimate from Xerath, and you can see the power right there. He's going to have to flash.
He used his dash to get to the minion, but it's going to be Dyrus coming in for first blood. Didn't look like he wanted it right away. He hesitated, but he did pick it up. They get dragon as well. That
is an amazing pickup here for TSM. They just ran out ahead of this game. Reggie, not being stingy with his ultimate, uses it just to get Xin low, and then Dyrus, like you said, coming in, he does hesitate a little bit, but pulls the trigger finally, even with the flash, nowhere for Loudamortis to go, and they also get the dragon. This is going exactly to TSM's plan. They said it in the video. The inexperience of Complexity, we want to prey on that. We want to take it late game. You can tell from the builds. Look at Reggie going gold per 5.
It was all about vision for that. They had all 3 in mid. They said if we put 2 on the dragon, we have Xerath with vision across that. We can just start hitting whoever comes down and poke them. Dyrus came in a little too late, which is maybe why it looked like they hesitated, but they cleaned it up
fine.
Quite easy right on. That unstoppable force got him within range. So 2-2 are still the turrets, so not too much globally was gained off of that. Just the gold to get a bump a little bit in the favor of TeamSoloMid. As Dyrus returns to the top lane, he went straight for a Giant's belt. You said he's going to like that help.
Yeah, he is. It's a really good buy, especially since he has that shield, extra 10%. But really, I want to talk about the mid laners. TF, he's passive, gives his whole team more gold when you're in these long, drawn-out games from just farming. And that's why Reggie, here we go, he does catch him out.
Oh my gosh, no, Trooper the barrier keeps him alive. Holy crap, that was a lot of damage.
we see another engage here from Loud and Mortis, forcing Xpecial to flash over the wall, and they're rewarded with 2 ward kills.
That is the gold you want to get when you initiate. Right
yes,
there.
the gold off those wards, so good.
Return on investment equals awesome. 13 minutes in, Kobe.
Right before Reggie pulled that solo shot on Chuper in the middle, I was going to say he tried to balance out the passive of TF by going with that Cage's Lucky Pick for the gold per 5. So they don't even lose out too much on the global farm game here. Also, that spot that he shot Chuper from was really popular when Morgana was a main middle play, because you can stand barely in that fog of war and it's just in range of landing her binding. A good use of that by Reggie for Xerath's skill shots as well works just as well.
So good. 13 minutes, 40 seconds in. Reginald looking to pick up a blue, and he will do so, but they know where the jungler is, so we'll have to see if there's any movement from Loud and Mortis here. They have that ward on the blue. They see Odd One coming down on the bottom side. So looks like Loud and Mortis may actually go top.
Reggie, for those of you who want to pick up this Xerath that we keep seeing in every game, he's doing the exact same build that Link did. Oh, here we go. The teleport coming in on Dyrus.
Yep, they are going to go top after he took his red buff. Trooper coming in, but they're a little too far off here. Dyrus has his ultimate, so if everything goes wrong, he can just use that right there. And he actually did it as the yellow card went off. I like that he just kind of pulled the stun away.
So I was going to say Reggie's using the same skill build, not the same item build as Link, as he goes to burst on Loud and Mortis once again. His skill build is exactly the same. He's maxing that locus of power. Second, there we go, another engage from Odd One.
Odd One goes in quickly, but he gets locked up there for a second. Finally gets his bearings back, and he kind of puts down a Cataclysm, but he gets knocked out of it himself. They're able to take down a good 2 there. Great job coming in from Reginald with the double kill. MIA trying to throw himself over. He finds the Odd One in a party, and it looks like they're going to disperse from this one. 3-1. Complexity looks hurt here as Nick Wu gets caught. It could be a 4-for-1. A few last attacks. Reginald picking up 3 in the overall fight.
Great Cataclysm from the Odd One. He paid for it with his life, but he kept everyone in the same area. They were not only able to bullet time over that, but the AoE from Xpecial as well as Malphite just crushing them down all at once. Now they're going to be able to shove on this turret really easily, take that middle one, and just go. Reggie's got double buffs right now too, so they can keep on sieging even after the first one goes down.
Yeah, that was definitely a big grab for them in that fight, especially in that area they just saw them. They had the ward. That ward burned out, and it cost them quite a bit in that first initiation. They had no vision. 5-1 now for TeamSoloMid as this game starts to ramp up here. 16 minutes in, that gold lead starting to go in favor of TSM here. Good damage, and Reginald probably knows every time he can't get these kills out, but we see the length of that cooldown. He's just using it as harass.
Yeah, it's kind of back in the days when Gragas's ultimate was solo cooldown that people would just throw that out over and over. Reggie really taking advantage of that max locus of power build, because he gets 40%, or 28%, excuse me, they changed it, 28% of the magic, or it's only level 3, that's why. 28% at level 3 penetration. And the percent penetration being taken into account before flat penetration means that his item build only has to include the flat penetration, and he's already going to be doing close to true damage.
It looks like the Sunfire Cape will be the first on the choice list for Dyrus coming in the top lane as he continues the somewhat split push. He's trying to bring that to his team. Takes down the top turret, and they will have that going full bore. 1 kill only coming in right now for Nick Wu in the top lane.
Super.
Not too much focus all around from that jungle, so Loud and Mortis now not going to have a hand in this. Dyrus gets out. We see Loud and Mortis in middle, and Dyrus, the second time he's used his ultimate to get out, but he's gaining a lot of focus.
And that's fine, because Nick Wu also used his ultimate first, so it's an ultimate for an ultimate, plus the TF teleport is down as well. Reggie getting caught out, though, going to be in a little bit of trouble.
Reginald very far in, did not have a friend to go warding, but it looks like he may be able to make it out. Oh, he draws the flash from Loud and Mortis. He wanted that one.
Yeah, you don't want to let that one get away. Good use of the flash right there. Definitely worth it. Securing that kill. And now they're going to run right towards Dragon. There's 2 people down here, but we don't have the teleport from Dyrus, so it should be a free Dragon.
It's a free Dragon. He wants that turret in the top lane. I don't think they have a pink ward for this. They do not. They do. They actually have 2 pink wards. Nick Wu being up with a little bit of gold for his team has kind of taken that on his back. and it could give them the advantage here to start this objective and really start to pull back in the game. He goes in, the Odd One very good at smiting these away, known for being able to grab it, but they all stop it. Odd One's taking some damage from the turret there. MIA is still trying to drain on the Dragon as well. They grab it and the kill on the Odd One. Great play.
That's exactly why I thought it would be a free Dragon, because you have very little hope of stealing that away. Odd One went for the hero play, though. Like you said, he's known for stealing away key objectives. He thought he had this one, doesn't quite get it this time. Now he's fed another kill on top of that Dragon, though, and TSM have to be careful. They're slowly handing this lead away.
It is super to like draw back for a second. MIA kept his drain on the Dragon so life would not go back up. But he was far enough away so that it was the Odd One taking the damage, and then they just turned around and quickly took it. Like, that was awesome that he just threw the fear onto the Odd One and was like, I'll keep Dragon damage, don't worry guys. Great, just all around mechanics by Complexity coming into that fight. We see them now 5-3. The gold is still in the lead of TeamSoloMid, so Complexity has a little bit of work cut out for them. They are 4-2 in turrets. Those ones have kind of lost them top and bottom. That bottom lane is all the way down to the inhibitor turret, but they still have that second tier in mid. They need to hold that, or I think it's going to give TSM a little bit too much control of the map.
Reggie going to get his blue buff. That will be really nice for them. Like Chowster said, his range is really the best part of that champion, and with a blue buff, he'll be able to keep on throwing out his skill shots over and over. It's great for a siege team, especially when you have the reliable initiates and knockups of that Malphite ultimate, and then the Cataclysm from the Odd One. They have a lot of control of the map, and Chaos's bullet time is a great zoning tool, even if they don't get someone in a Cataclysm.
Lockets of the Iron Solari being finished for both junglers now as we take a quick look at the inventories. Everybody just kind of farming it out right now. So let's take a look and see what they're buying with that farm and these kills. You see it looks like going for the Lichbane and possible, well, it won't be an Abyssal Scepter for TF, that would be weird. But yeah, he has the Lichbane, but he also bought some magic resistance as well because he knew he was getting blown up right away from that Xerath. He can get caught out by Reginald quite easily in those fights.
Yeah, magic resistance right now is not going to be too effective since he is maxing his locus of power. He will eventually get up to that 40% I was talking about. And then he also has the flat pin build.
Mortis.
Loud Mortis taking a lot.
There it is, the Unstoppable Force to go in as well, but he gets himself farther away from the team and he may get the heal he needs. Oh, the bullet's going to be able to hit him. Great job by Chaos reaching that in the max range. Odd One caught a little too far out. He will go down in the 1-for-1 so far. It looks like Reginald will be able to get the turret with his team, so they come out a little bit ahead there with that gold.
Interesting communication from TSM right there. Dyrus flashes out as Odd One jumps in to save him with the Cataclysm. They do a little high five over the wall, and see ya, buddy. General's going down with the ship.
So with that push in the top lane, we see Brunch kind of looking for the chase. Reginald thrown out into siege mode, but there's the Destiny coming out. They do not like what puts the position that puts them in, rather. Chuper is going to go ahead and just back happily there.
Yeah, backing with the old TF ultimate. B button way too slow. Can't rely on that blue pill. He wanted to get vision though, and MIA takes a huge burst. Has to use his flash.
There's the dazzle and one last hit from Reginald. He is now 4-1-3 on this matchup. He's really not even sporting that much AP yet.
No, it's all about the penetration. I talked about it way too much already though. You guys know the numbers now.
Looking around here, we also have a Kindle Gem coming out for Fiddlesticks as well, so he's looking for a little bit of health and cooldowns in his build. He wants to throw out as many fears in the fight. We have MIA, again, the supports loving these boots of mobility after Elements has been throwing that around.
The Lichbane completed,
there it
so
is, yep.
If you can get him over to a turret and split push, then they do still have a good option here for team play. The only thing is that Dyrus is so strong right now and he's built full tank. He can handle a TF split push, and he does have teleport up.
A little burst of power there coming in for Reginald. He finally gets a needlessly large rod. That's going to be quite scary. He will definitely be able to 100-0 somebody now. The build coming in. It looks like actually the Infinity Edge to be finished next, possibly, as he picks up a quick BF sword after he got that pickaxe. I would have figured just quickly into the Last Whisper, but it doesn't look like he's actually going up against that much armor, so it looks like he's just, Chaos is going to build that damage out.
Yeah, not only that, but they also did switch their comp at the last second. Swift Renekton out there, they have plenty of AP damage here with the Dyrus ultimate and the Reggie ultimate. So Chaos has stated, you know, MF's ultimate scales really well with AD. You don't have to build that Black Cleaver just because the Koreans did a lot, and it's a great tool for your team when the rest of your team has has a lot of AD. They also benefit from it since it's reduction and everybody gets to do more damage. But with his two solos are AP, so it's not that big of a deal. Good burst there. He gets it on all 3 people. Just because he didn't get a kill doesn't mean that was a waste. He forces them all back. That affords TSM a bunch more map control, and they're shoving right up this lane.
Man, I am thinking that Complexity would have loved to see an Orianna right now. They can't even get within range of seeing TSM. They were just forced out of that lane, and all they did was put down a ward.
I'm so happy that I actually got one right here with the Xerath coming out strong today.
I think you need to thank them for not trolling you.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Maybe they thought that I thought that it would be a troll. Anyway, we have the rest of TSM actually going to back off of this top turret. They will wait a little bit for Reggie's ultimate to come back. He's still got another 15 seconds on it, but they've got some good vision control of this Baron area. They just need an Oracles, and they can start forcing a bad position from Complexity.
As we come into 24 minutes, TSM roaming together as that dragon is up. It looks like they're poised to take that quite quickly as well here. Dyrus is going to have that teleport ready in the top lane. We'll see where TSM decides to put that ward they're going to fight with. It might be that one, because that would be a sweet entry for Dyrus to come in on the backside. And it looks like Reginald is actually going to do what they did the first time. They're going to draw people to Dragon. They're going to poke whoever comes in first and then obliterate that person.
Yeah, he immediately uses the speed boost from deactivating Locus of Power to get out of there.
Yep.
It's a nice little addition to that. Oh, he does catch Loud Immortus out with the stun.
There's that poke we were talking about. It might not be the initiation since they're out of position, but bam, they are just dictating how these fights happen.
53-second cooldown on his ultimate without blue buff right now.
Absolutely ridiculous. And because they wanted to try Dragon, TSM gets it, and they might just pick up a top turret here. The gold card is going to scare Dyrus away.
Again, no kill rewarded for the use of his ultimate, but you get another objective because they have to retreat, and it's a free global gold for them. This is so similar to the first 2 games that we saw, again, from those the top teams. It seems like they've all been talking. They're all taking the first one slow, getting into this marathon that it's going to be super weak.
Remove the mistakes, Kobe. Make less mistakes, and you will find more W's. It seems like that's just what most of these teams are taking under their belt right now, and it seems to be working beautifully for them. Brunch trying to farm out this mid lane as we take a look at the CS between some of these lanes. 226 for Brunch to the 185 of Chaos. Chaos, however, 2-0-3 does have good money on coming into that bank right now, but we still have damage coming from Bunchy. We haven't seen a good lockup ultimate from him. Their fight composition just hasn't been able to really do what it was meant to do. So we have to see, wait for that 5v5 to come in. 207 to 181 in the mid lane. The Lich Bane has been finished, as we said, by Trooper, but we haven't seen that yet either be able to be used. So TSM is really just causing Complexity to put a halt on whatever strategies they want to use right now.
He's not really strong enough to go split pushing. Dyrus, like I said, could easily take on Twisted Fate right now. He's so beefy, and he can even burn him down with Sunfire Cape, blow his ultimate, destroy that TF. There's no Zanyas on him, so he won't be able to bait much out. And we see that Oracles coming out from Xpecial that I was talking about for the Baron control. They clean out the entire red side jungle, and they're forcing that game of hide and seek. Complexity, they do have Twisted Fate ultimate, so they can use that one time to gain vision, but after that, they're going to have to be dropping a lot of money on wards if they want to contest this Baron.
A lot of things coming up for Complexity. Says they want to fight, but it's going to be a cautious and scary fight for them. The Destiny to find vision. They've picked up the Rylas to keep the fight in their favor, to keep everybody locked in and they can't get away. They have the Aegis as well, that lock of the Iron Solari to pop on the shield if they do require it. So it looks like a lot of them are ready to kind of engage here. The Home Guard boots as well. We'll have to see what they can do. Taking down that first turret, they throw down a ward. Chuper almost, he is down to half health, and only 2 of those ultimates came in hitting. Another ward goes down. They're just trying to keep vision of TSM right now. A little gold in their favor, Kobe. They're just trying to grab that first rung of the ladder and climb back into this.
Good job by Complexity, at least getting that middle turret, a global objective down, taking advantage of TSM's position. They're also able to ward the flash, though. is burned from Fiddlesticks, and that's a pretty big cooldown.
Well, he won't
Useful
be able to
tool.
do anything extravagant with his ultimate, that's for sure. But he still may be able to get over a wall good enough to help this, maybe help steal the Baron as well if they can get to the odd one in time.
Again, an objective just by chunking someone out and burning their flash. Now they're forcing this Baron, taking down very quickly with that percentage damage from Jarvan and the zoning potential.
Oh my gosh, Reginald still sits on the outside, and Odd One comes in, but he's not able to. Reginald flashes over the wall, puts himself in a terrible situation. The Dyrus comes to the rescue though, and it's going to be the lockup. It only hits one person coming from Varus there. They're forced out of this fight. Great save on Reginald by Dyrus.
Yep. I mean, TF is just so squishy right now. I talked about how he can't 1v1 Dyrus with a bottom blade. Dyrus just comes in, saves Reggie, no problem. They're both aggressive. As long as they do it all as a team, they only needed 3 people to jump over and just chase off the rest of the complexity while Odd One finishes up Baron with Xpecial.
And that right there, if you didn't know Reginald was an aggressive player and coined that, that is the reason why. Flashing by himself, putting himself in the pit of red buff. And he gets saved out. Odd One taking a bit of damage here, forced to throw on the locket. He makes it out alive though. These guys, you see the tank that they're bringing to the table right there. Those were good 5-6 turret shots, and Reginald's still just trying to harass before they get out.
Yeah, sieging up right there for a little bit. Now that they've both taken the inhibitor turret and they have Baron, they have complete control of the entire map. They can take their time going back to base to purchase with all this global gold that they just earned, and then return with a new item and still like half the duration on that Baron buff. So that's plenty of time to take an inhibitor as well as another turret.
30 minutes into this one, and it looks like TF did go for the Abyssal. Well, fantastic. Maybe it's not as weird as I thought before.
Well, it didn't help very much. Even though he had that magic resist, Dyrus still just stomped him into the ground over there.
It was a, damn, I hope this helps by. And yeah, it's gonna, right? It's magic resistance, but it's not going to stop the burst that Reginald's bringing to the table right now. Finishes are Leandri's. Actually, I haven't looked at his inventory lately, but I'm pretty sure that was just a solid buy.
He just bought that,
yeah, exactly.
With the purchase there of the early magic resists on Twisted Fate, a lot of people have been talking about how it's not as effective as it used to be to buy resistances early. Before you have 1500 HP, you shouldn't. It's not effective to buy any resistances. Actually, when you have to get past that point for the gold values of them to even out again, and that's not even taking into account natural resistances from champion abilities and all that. So a first buy of some life item would actually be more effective than spending money on resistances before you've actually purchased an extra HP item. However, he wanted the combined effect of those items, the Lichbane and the magic penetration of that Abyssal Scepter.
Now we are 30 minutes in. Complexity desperately trying to reach back into this one and find some ground. The pink ward's still coming out. The blue elixir's coming out as well for Nick Wu if they choose to go in. The Brunch not even able to get into this fight. Reginald has hardly even entered it as well, but he's taken about 75% of the health of 2 of the members of Complexity. The inhibitor goes down. Lauda Mortis follows as well, and it looks like they'll be able to push down at least one Nexus turret here. If they want it, they want the inhibitor though, and it looks like they're going to go for another one, Kobe.
Since Complexity initiated that, TSM had all of their tools to follow up. Odd One actually uses Cataclysm not as an initiate to grab people for that bullet time, but just to catch Lauda Mortis and keep one from getting away. A free kill means now they're going to be able to take this second inhibitor and easily push in on the Nexus ones too. It looks like another very slow game, just methodically played out as we expected.
And so much strength. They're sitting in here right now as well with Reginald's ultimate. Throughout all of this, he has not had to use it yet, so that if anything goes wrong, they can still get out safely and just turn around. So much damage. There it is. Oh, a great flash by Chuper, though. It may not have been the save of this fight, but he definitely makes a nice move there. Lauda Mortis taking a good amount of damage. Odd One getting himself a little in a hairy spot there. Nick Wu's going to go down here. He will not be a help for his team. That's the AoE that they need right now. Lauda Mortis is going to go in onto Chaos. Dyrus is going to crush that attack speed. He also slows him down. They try to get back into this one. The ultimate forced out of Lauda Mortis just to save them. Brunch locked up, forces a summoner spell when he didn't really need to. There's no ultimate from Dyrus to come out. This is getting hairy for both teams. Will they continue?
I was really worried for Odd One there. I thought that he was going to go down when we landed the Varus snare on him, but he had his gap closes, also his flash, able to get out. And the synergy on Complexity, it seems a little off. We saw in the first little team fight there. Oh, Special does get Destiny on him, and Chuper's going to chase him down here.
Here's Lotto Mortis. Can he get that dive in? I don't think these guys are running Moby boots, but they do have the speed. They capitalize on the kill, and that puts him in the death chamber for 45 seconds.
The Nick Wu laid down his ultimate to catch everyone, slow them down, but then Lotto Mortis used his knockback and kicked everyone out of it. So they didn't seem like they're on the same page, and TSM just kind of rolled over all those team fights into one, and they're able to take out a lot of the base. It's going to be very difficult, to say the least, for Complexity.
I'm going to have to hit myself because we obviously haven't looked at the inventories enough unless this just happened, but Chaos not sporting the boots. Actually just going for that Zephyr as well as the Zeal to come in.
I really like Zephyr. I first got it on Jax because it was recommended, but I really fell in love with it because it gives you so much movement speed, and it also gives you tenacity. So it's kind of like having a little some mini boots there for Misfortune. He's got movement speed, he's got tenacity, kind of like some ghetto Merc treads there or something.
Yeah, exactly. We see the Oracles coming out as well. It might be a first time Mikhail's Crucible. At least Jat has a smile on his face, and it looks like the 80 carries are pretty much to that fruition of their damage capacity. That was a lot of just common train words.
We did have at least some good combination here for Nick Wu. He's finished the Leandries on top of his Rylai's.
Yeah.
So they have a good amount of percentage damage. At least that's going to put a dent into Dyrus. That man just built pure tank over here, and it's been really hard. Look, he's taking shots, and it doesn't actually move his bars at all. Even with Leandry. Those were Leandry shots.
There's the ultimate from Nick Wu coming out. The Rylai's will proc on, so they're going to be slowed into this fight. It forces a few flashes, but TSM's front line is more than happy to stay in. Dyrus again waits for the unstoppable force for halfway through the fight to reinitiate. The counter goes back in. There goes Lotto Mortis. One last hit, ground slam. It actually goes to Chaos. He picked that up somehow, squeaking the last bullet in. There's the inhibitor to go down. We see the faces of TSM on your screen. Some smiles going out there, and it looks like they're going to have eyes on these turrets, Kobe.
This is just, I swear we've done this before. This is the exact same way our last two games ended. Congrats to TSM. They will be able to take down both Nexus turrets.
A very sturdy game once again. Game 3 here of your Super Wednesday. TeamSoloMid has eyes on the Nexus at half health. Trooper barriers out with a gold card for the swag. And it looks like TeamSoloMid is going to be able to pick up the win.
It's kind of funny how I really went off on TSM in the beginning for being predictable when they were hovering over that Renekton. Then they actually switched it up. Dyrus did really well on that Malphite, and he was a great tool for their team comp. But also, they pulled out the Xerath, which we hadn't seen in the LCS before this week. It just happened that CLG actually spoiled the surprise for them early. And they're like, oh yeah, TSM super predictable. No, guys, we're going to bring out Xerath. Oh, CLG already did that? Oh. So